Steve Guttenberg here, back at Stereo Exchange with the man who started it all, David Wasserman, in his domain. Here we are in this incredible story. I was just here basically to listen to those tannoys with Fernando. That was a great system. Really impressive. But I'm here to talk to you, Mr. Wasserman, about your relationships with manufacturers, because this is a big part of the retail audio business, right?
It's a huge part of the business and probably significantly misunderstood by customers. Customers buy products, they buy it based on reviews or friends' recommendations or salesman recommendation, and they're buying a box for so many dollars that's supposed to do something.
Right.
But they don't think about who's going to support that down the road. What is the likelihood that there'll be a vendor even in existence? So I get requests from some of my customers. Recently, I have one customer who's really a dyed-in-the-wool audiophile who looks for the most obscure brands possible.
Yeah.
And I say, you buy that, you have nowhere to go. A couple of years from now, they may be out of business. Try to get parts from it. I had an experience with a famous film director who bought some of that product from another retailer who I won't name. And when it broke down, he was high and dry. He couldn't do anything with it. It was virtually worthless, and believe me, he spent a lot of money on it. So I have great relationships with vendors. That's so important to us. Things like, here's a common example. You get a defective product out of the box. Well, the customer expects to get a new one, a reasonable expectation.
That's right.
Well, guess what? Not every manufacturer, or a good deal of them, won't give you a new one. So we have to give a new one and take back, in effect, a used one, which is completely devalued. That's not very good for my bottom line.
Right.
I want a vendor that says, I'm really sorry this happened. I can't believe it. We'll ship you out a new one today, and we'll send you a call tag for the other one. When that happens, I know I've got a great vendor. And that's a product that I want to sell.
Do you spell that out when you're taking on a new company? Like, here's what I expect.
Well, it was a process through the years. When I started, I was probably like the customer. Ooh, this is cool. It got a great review.
Right.
Let's buy it. And
Right.
you learn through experience that we had our share of vendors that didn't treat us well and did go out of business. So now, I guess you would call our business much more mainstream because it's the mainstream vendors that will support the dealer. There are other elements of support. Will they help you run promotions?
Okay.
Spend money on you, so that you can promote their product. Will they join with you? Will they come down to your store and do presentations and meet your end-all customers? So there are many aspects to it. Will they make life easy for you? I can name names, I wouldn't do it, but there are some vendors that are so difficult to deal with that you don't understand why they're in business.
Right.
I think we've all, you told a story to me the last time we spoke about
Right.
the Versa Dynamics.
Yeah.
There's a classic example of someone who just doesn't get it.
And soon went out of business.
And soon went out of
shortly
business.
thereafter. Right?
But there were some people who had his $20,000 turntable who were screwed. They couldn't get service on it. And actually, one of my customers fell into that category.
Yeah.
So
is Macintosh the gold standard then?
is Macintosh the gold standard? They are a very good vendor. They take care of us. Yes,
Okay.
they really do. And there are many others. Probably the nicest vendor that I have, without any question, is Totem Acoustic.
Interesting. Wow, nice.
Oh, they are amazing. They just, everything with them is make the customer happy. That's it.
Wow.
They never look at that there's a cost to them. Recently I had a speaker that came in with such minute cosmetic damage that we really had to search for it. As soon as I called up Lucy, who is their VP of operations, who basically runs the business, she said, no problem, I'll send you a new pair immediately. Never asked to see pictures of it or anything. And then offered me an option of either giving me a substantial discount on the speakers so that I could sell them as an open box, fully warranted thing, or she would take them back and use her UPS number to take it back. So I was in a position of I couldn't lose, you know. And because, you know, I think one of the things that happens when you get a vendor that treats you so well, you're relaxed and easy, and you said, you know what, I'll just keep the speakers, give me the discount, and I'll sell them off. Why incur that cost of UPS shipping them back? You're only going to have to sell them as a, you know, a reboxed pair of speakers anyway. So they are the gold standard.
Right.
Yeah, they really are.
But I want to tell you a story about from my perspective when I was in retail.
Yeah.
So I had a customer, and he bought it was a Wadia DAC.
Right.
And 6 months later, whatever, it just died.
Right.
You know, and for whatever reason, he didn't call me, you know, the salesman that sold it to him in the store. He called Wadia.
Yeah, that happens where they call the manufacturer directly.
Right. So then the manufacturer called me and said, you know, basically, you know, get it from him, ship it back, and we'll deal with it, right?
Right.
So then I call him up right away. I said, I'm very sorry this happened. Here's what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Customer. I'm going to send the guy to your house. You don't have to lift a finger. He will leave you a DAC so you have music while it's away. I will red label it to them. They will turn it around in one day. They will red label it back. I will return it, and you don't have to lift a finger. And you know what he said to me?
What?
That's not good enough. I want a new DAC.
Right.
And I said, okay, I understand. You're frustrated this happened, and you're fearful it may happen again. Let me see what Wadia will do for you, right? So I called Wadia and I said, he wants this. And they said, well, we don't have a new one. We don't have an inventory of those. Right. And we kind of pretty sure we know what it is, and we can just turn it around really fast, and everything will be good. And that wasn't good enough for him. So some customers you can't please.
No.
When you do everything I possibly could to make them happy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, there's that unreasonable side that people have, and it's hard. Sometimes you have to actually just say, you know what, here's your refund. We're getting divorced.
Oh, well, somehow I didn't get to do that time.
Yeah, no, believe me, I don't get to do too many divorces in the retail
wouldn't be good
business.
for business, but yeah.
No, that is a problem. Well, you know, again, you had a manufacturer that didn't have inventory. That's part of the problem. Right. You know, if they had an adequate inventory, they could have done the easy way. I was just telling Fernando before, I once went to a Nordstrom, at one of the meetings that we went to in a buying group that I was in, and Nordstrom was a featured speaker, and they talked about their customer service. And the point that they made was empower your employees to do something right away that makes the customer happy. That's your best way to handle it. And they were very proud that there was a salesman, they put it on the front cover of their annual report, who sent a guy who bought shirts and went to England and shrunk them all. They were very proud that he sent new shirts to this guy. They were bragging about that. So what do I do with this phone call?
I don't know.
Yeah, let me just shut it off.
Hey, it's live video, you know.
There we go.
All right.
So, you know, you can do things like that, again, if you have the support behind you. If you know you have a good vendor behind you, you can step up to the plate and take care of the customers. I almost think that, you know, that customers should really actually think about that.
Yeah.
The process of, you know, I'm not just buying from Stereo Exchange or whatever retailer, but I'm buying from a vendor. You know, from a manufacturer. Who are they? You know, do they have a reliable reputation? Yeah. So we do. I mean, I guess the important point to make, after all these years of doing this, we're very careful about how we select vendors. Sometimes you don't really know, but for the most part, you have pretty good feeling about who you're selecting. And if you see the behavior is bad, you disengage.
Right.
It's not worth it. Life is too short. I want to get through the problems
Right.
in a very simple, straightforward, successful way. Isn't that part of what the customer is paying for? They're paying for an experience, from start to finish.
Right. And your job is to make it smooth.
Yes, it is. And
I think we did it.
okay.
All right. Anyway, Steve Guttenberg at Star Exchange with David Wasserman, and thanks again for your time.
Oh, a
and
pleasure, Steve.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.